Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back. My name is Carpo, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about emotion, a little bit about controlling our emotions, rather, how to lead a better life. And no, this isn't some BS positivity speech. In fact, I despise those. It's why I don't talk about this kind of stuff more often. But I do have an arsenal of information that I use to cope with the world around me. And I don't mind sharing. I love to talk about the things that I do to roll my eyes at the BS in society. And the reason I share is simple. Because I think that many people out there are controlled by their emotions to the degree where they allow fear and anger to rule their lives. Now, I get angry sometimes. It lasts about 30 seconds and I move on. But it's not a rage, or I can't even know if it's anger as compared to someone else's anger. If someone wrongs me, that angers me. But I get over that even quicker. There are different degrees. Now, I can see why a person would be angry for a long period of time if they were extremely wronged, and I don't want to get into the details. Let's say their family was harmed by somebody else. I would harbor a resentment for them, but that's not the kind of anger I'm talking about. I'm talking about the guy who pulls out a gun because you cut him off in traffic. There are some real jerks out there. And the fear aspect, I think, of course, we know that leads into the anger. We know that fear and anger are entwined. But we also have to acknowledge that many people just fear and others are just angry. But I think that even most of the angry people deep down inside have some really deep-seated fears they haven't dealt with, which is why they're angry. And the reason I'm talking about this is because in our very worst times in life, what we need the most is positivity, connection, those around us who care. And the saddest thing is that when we really need it the most, we tend to have the least of it. It's just like the irony of depression. They say when you're depressed, you just have to eat right and get out and exercise and do things. But that's the last thing you want to do. When you're anxious, you should just meet people, go out and experience, just talking with folks, something maybe you don't want to do. And I believe that fear and anger are both a prison of the mind. No matter what your situation or circumstance is, it's probably not as bad as you think. But there are legitimate fears. Now, if you're about to lose your home, if you're losing your family, if you're losing your life, there are legitimate reasons, don't get me wrong, legitimate reasons to be angry and frustrated. That's understandable. But for the most part, what I'm seeing out there is people complaining about the most petty of things. And because of this, the media, the newspapers, the online characters have just bought right into it and created this fake outrage. Because of the fact that anger is a prison of the mind and that fear is a prison of the mind, there are many people who will pull you into their group because since fear and anger are derived from our need for connection, and we don't have any, if somebody promises that they feel the same way and that you can connect with them, of course, you'll buy their merch. Of course, you'll hold a mug with a rifle on it because you're a supporter of firearms. These things aren't really majorly important in the big scheme of things, but to some people, finding a connection with a group of people is one of the most important things, I think, for folks. So the media creates a fake outrage about what may or may not happen. And these politics that play a role in it, people just buy right into it. And I think that a lot more folks are realizing that most of these people are faux angry. They're faking anger and disdain, whether it Whether it be the left or the right. I'm not talking specific politics here. There's a guy, Chet Collier, actually. I heard this quote the other day. Back in the day, he was a Fox News executive. And he said, people don't want to be informed. They want to feel informed. And this was like 15, 20 years ago or something. That has never rang more true than today. The people really don't want to be informed. They're not interested in real information. They're interested in information that coincides with what they want to believe. And the reason that's important is because we need to be able to interact with other folks that don't agree with us, even if your reason and your facts just make them LOL, or just say fake news, or whatever it may be, where a person doesn't want to acknowledge the truth of something. But the other side of that is that who holds the truth? The gatekeepers of truth, I guess you would call it. So, as I said, people are not only paid to be faux angry and pretend to be angry. They're paid to make you angry. And I think that if you know your emotions, then you won't become Truman from The Truman Show. It's a perfect example. It's always been used as a kind of a metaphor for where we can end up, really not realizing that you're being totally screwed over all the time, but at the same time, you don't have to let that make you angry and frustrated. Comparing ourselves to others is probably one of the things that holds us back the most, I believe. And I think what's happening right now and what's really scary is that we are using emotion over discourse, emotion over reason. But what's even scarier than that is that I'm starting to think that most people's reason is extremely limited in scope, not only as a group, but as individuals. We can't seem to hypothesize and create anything worth a damn anymore. It seems to be all about who can make the most money and the best product and make them, have your brand posted all over people. And like I said, facts don't seem to matter for most people, and that really is scary. And it's this righteousness people have about what they think they know. And I've changed my mind so many times. And in fact, I was arguing against, like I said, against socialism the other day, even though a year ago I may have had a different opinion. Because it's in the nuance. It's not that I'm totally in agreement or disagree with any one thing or idea. I see that things are complicated. Put it this way, if there's one thing, one idea, one law, whatever it might be, that's controversial enough to where half the people argue against and for it, you should ask yourself why, and arm yourself with the information of why the other party and the other people feel differently than you do. Because maybe they're right, or maybe they're wrong, but everybody's opinion is legitimate, as a human being. We don't know why we're here, what we're supposed to do, or the best way to organize. I have a lot of empathy, but I don't have a lot of patience for bullshit. And that makes it kind of hard. What I've seen is that people love drama. People absolutely love drama. And they want to get involved in debates and arguments, but they don't want to back up what they have to say. And so drama is much different. Drama is talking about people, talking about others. What's going on with these people, those people, that person, the lives of other people. But I like the idea of talking about things. I don't care about breaking news, which, by the way, wasn't always a thing. Breaking news became, oh my God, look what happened to Jennifer Lopez. And it's pretty absurd. Like, it's weird. It's like living in the Twilight Zone sometimes. But to kind of cycle back to the beginning and the main points that I wanted to make, yes, it is like a circus out there. But just try to enjoy it. Don't let yourself get brought down by it. Don't let yourself become one of those cynical assholes. I definitely am sarcastic and I can be cynical, speak cynically, but I don't ever feel angry about society or the world. I don't ever get frustrated and pissed off about things. Unless, of course, kids die in a school, and that one kind of irritated me to watch the inaction of the cops. But that's one story. That's because kids can't protect themselves. When it comes to adults, I don't really have very much empathy if people are dumbasses. And it's hard because, that sounds like an asshole thing to say. But I'm talking about the guy who crashes in 100 miles an hour in his Lamborghini in rush hour traffic and dies. It's like, bummer. Like, why? Why do people feel that folks deserve what they get? I guess that maybe the Ferrari's not the best example. A better example would be somebody who, did something to somebody else's family that was horrendous, and then they ended up getting killed in prison. Like, I don't care. I don't have any feelings for them or care about their point. But anyway, there's like this latest faux outrage that everyone has, whatever they can be pissed off at the moment. And I came up with this kind of idea of fast and slow thinking. Like, a lot of folks just want instant results. They want their opinions to be heard. They want things to change right away. And then there's kind of a mentality that you need to look at the bigger picture and see what is the best for all people, but also what aspects can be proven about life, which ones can't. How do we reconcile our differences? And so many people out there are trying to be optimistic, and they want to help their neighbors. They want to do the right thing, and they think that, for example, I think that people have the opportunity and the ability to make whatever they want happen. I think society can improve, and I think that it's going to. But I also think that we go through growing pains. And I think we have to let go of expectations. I've never been an idealist because I think idealism is pointless. I think having this idea of what you think the world should look like isn't going to solve anything, and it probably won't come to fruition. The best we can do is say, what do all of our neighbors and family and friends want the world to look like? Not how can I convince others to think the way I think. Because there's a reason people think the way they think. I trust the individual over the collective because mobs do horrible things. So do individuals, but the collective can do a lot of damage when they are misinformed, and it's very contagious, this kind of rage that people get. And they get usually enraged over things that aren't even real and don't even matter. I guess I can't get into the very specific topics because then my video will just be, completely banned from YouTube. Because there are a lot of topics that we need to talk about, but we can't right here. And I really don't want to, because it's not my place. I'm going to leave that one to the other people who do. The most controversial topics of today, I don't want to get into. So anyway, I'm going to go now. This has been a long video, and I appreciate you listening. I haven't made videos very much lately because I've been working, I've been busy and distracted, but I'm always thinking and creating ideas, and I really want to keep focusing on trying to be optimistic, trying to help people as much as I can without sounding like an arrogant prick. Hopefully that makes sense. I really think it's important that you be yourself, first and foremost. Find your own truth. Don't let other people's emotion rub off on you and let you get angry. Deal with your shit. If you get frustrated, just fucking let it pass through you. Let it go. And that's all you can do. Over and out.